Thanks so much, Andrea. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in a change to the programme. Before we move on, in light of the breaking news reaching us this lunchtime from Westminster, that, of course, is the resignation of the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner. At a time of national political crisis, it is only right and proper that we hear from our leader, the man who has already, ladies and gentlemen, changed British politics for good, and he's about to do it again.
We have a chance of doing something really historic.
I came back into politics on the 3rd of June last year because I believe that our country has to be turned around. Because I said that we would get millions of votes. Reform is now in government. And the big shout-out message, and it's very, very clear, is if you vote reform, you get reform.
We have the conviction, the love of country, the courage to stand up and say, we are proud of our country. We are proud of its history. We will stand up and defend that to anybody.
Reform is now topping a national poll.
I've had some great successes in life. I've had plenty of failures. But what I bring to this now is experience. What I bring to this now is passion. I'm not afraid of anything. I believe that reform represents a silent majority in Britain. And when it comes to country, of what a nation is, this is where I do personally want to confront the Prime Minister head on.
There's nobody on these issues of sovereignty, on these issues of national self-interest. There is nobody more determined than me.
Can we make history? Are you going to be part of it? Thank you very, very much indeed. We are all ships rising on a turquoise tide, headed ever closer towards winning the next general election. It's been a day of some considerable news. It seems that female politicians are all the rage at the moment. We had our own very positive announcement overnight, of which you will hear more. But the reason that I've moved this speaking time forward is because this government is deep in crisis. Not only have they fallen into deep popularity within just a year of winning the general election, but it's become clear to all of us that it is a cabinet of wholly unqualified people to run our country. They are not fit to govern. I suppose we're lucky in one way that at least the Chancellor was a senior economist at the Bank of England for 10 years. and that the business secretary is a fully qualified solicitor, and that the Deputy Prime Minister and Housing Secretary, until half an hour ago, is an accomplished property developer and speculator. But you simply can't get away, can you, from being the Housing Secretary and avoiding £40,000 of council tax. And it screams to entitlement. It screams to a government that, despite all the promises that this would be a new, different kind of politics, is as bad, if not worse, than the one that went before. We've been told that right now the Prime Minister is organising a reshuffle. Yet another reset. And that the names of the new cabinet will come out later on this afternoon. Well, I didn't want the Prime Minister to do anything to spoil our conference, and that's why I've come on the stage now to say they are not fit to govern. The Conservative Party are riven. In fact, Nadine Dorries said overnight the Conservative Party are dead. Deservedly so. Deservedly so. And they will not be forgiven. They will not be forgiven for their betrayals over the course of the last 5 years. Mass migrations, illegal immigrants crossing the Channel, sky-high taxes, and much else. But in the middle of this meltdown of these two parties that have dominated for 100 years British politics, in the middle of all of this, there is a new, strong, unified party that speaks with one voice, that knows it's determined to put the interests of Britain and the British people above that of outdated international treaties or dubious courts. We are the patriotic party. We are the party that stands up for decent working people, and we are the party on the rise. Just think, I stood before you this time last year. At this very conference, we only had a handful of branches around the country. We now have 450 branches that we've set in place. As we entered the general election of 2024, we had 30,000 paid-up members. In the last hour, we've gone through 240,000 members. This time last year, we had very few councillors. Now we have over 900, and I've got to tell you, last year I said to all of you, May the 1st is coming. Volunteer to stand in the county elections. And even though the government cancelled the elections in 9 of the counties that we would have won, we still won outright 10 county councils and became the largest party in 3 others. Unbelievable. And I'll be honest with you, as I toured round the country on May the 2nd, I frankly myself couldn't believe just how well we'd done. Couldn't believe the extent to which we'd caught the mood. And the real icing on the cake, and it may only have been by 6 votes, but never let anyone tell you ever again that my vote doesn't count, because it does. And we got Sarah Pochin elected in the Runcorn by-election. We have topped over 100 of the last opinion polls. Our lead is between 10 and 15% against any of the other parties. And I tell you what, given the state of chaos they're in, I think we can increase that lead further yet. Folks, it's happening. Now the next step is going to be even bigger. Scottish Parliament elections, Welsh Senate elections, and indeed a by-election that will take place in Wales next month. All 32 London boroughs will be up for election, and we will take that seriously as we get ready to have a mayoral candidate so that we can beat Sadiq Khan next time round. We're going to need up to 5,000 vetted candidates to fight those elections next year. Those elections next year are an essential building block as we head towards a general election. Now, talking of the general election, it's supposed to be in, I know you want it now, but it's not going to come now. The next general election is not due until 2029. But let me tell you, it's all right, I'll cheer you up in a moment. Angela Rayner going, not just as Housing Secretary, but also as elected Deputy Leader of the Labour Party and Deputy Prime Minister, means there will be an internal election in the Labour Party. Already, they're facing the threat of Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana. That's if the two could ever agree on anything, including the choice of a party name. But I put this to you. This battle for Deputy Leader of the Labour Party will be very like the battles they had back in the early 1980s. The left of the Labour Party will rear its voice. We're used to hearing stories of splits in the Conservative Party. We're about to witness a big rift in the Labour Party too. And I think if there is one really big message from me to this conference, I don't think, and the bond markets back me up, and the leftward drift backs me up, and before long, there'll be Labour MPs that reckon they've got a better chance on the Jeremy Corbyn sectarian ticket, because frankly, folks, that's what's going on in our country. We have sectarian politics emerging. I loathe it. But there'll come a point when many MPs, Labour MPs, think they've got a better chance of being re-elected under that ticket, under Corbyn, than they do under Sir Keir. I think there is every chance now of a general election happening in 2027, and we must be ready for that moment. Now, we also, as a party, have to raise a lot of money, and we're making progress. Our Treasurer, Charlton Edwards, and his team doing a great job. Our Honorary Treasurer, Nick Candy, has personally already put in over £500,000 of his own money. Nick, we thank you for that. But I want you two in the branches to go out and work and raise money, to volunteer to be candidates, to deliver leaflets, to knock on doors. We need to be the party of activism. And I think all of us believe, don't we, in what we're doing? So we must all play our part and do our bit. But one of the counter-arguments, well, there are two. One is it a one-man band? I went to the football shirt stand earlier, and there you've got 11 names. Jenkins, Tice, Pochin, and so on. 11 of our most senior elected representatives. And I stood in the middle and held up the shirt that said Farage, and the BBC asked me, am I a one-man band? I said, look at this lot behind me. And one of the joys of this year has been seeing so many other senior reform figures appearing on television, appearing on radio, writing articles for newspapers. We've broadened the scope, and fresh new people are coming in. People like Colin Sutton, the legendary detective, heading up our Police and Crime Commission. People like Vanessa Frake, the toughest prison governor in the country. And many more talented people will come. And I don't believe that all governments have to be MPs in the House of Commons. That's the convention. But it doesn't work, does it? You appoint people to be a rail minister, an education secretary who have no knowledge of the department they're supposed to run. And we will bring in a ministry of all the talents from all walks of life. And to hell with convention. But that brings me on to the other argument where I will admit we have some weakness. And that is that none of our senior figures have ever been in government before. Oh, we're beginning to see already, through the county councils that we run, certain obstructions from the civil service being put in our way. And I imagine if we win the next election, we may face similar barriers to the kinds of real change that this country needs. So we need experienced people. We need people who have been in government. We need people who understand just how the system works and what the difficulties are. We need people with experience. And that is why, after a lengthy debate and consultation, that is why I'm pleased to welcome today to the stage a woman who was served in cabinet as Culture Secretary, a woman who has sold 3.5 million books, a woman who has been on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. Somebody from the real world who's worked their way up, been incredibly successful, who actually crosses the boundaries from politician into celebrity. And I'm delighted that we're going to have the experience, the talent, the hard work and the loyalty of Nadine Dorries, and I'm proud to welcome her onto the stage now. Have a look at this conference. Haven't our team done just the most amazing job? I promised you I would democratise the party. I think the fact that 70,000 of you voted for our new board members was an incredible show that you believe in the party. You wanted this democratisation. And all I can do is to promise you that I will give this everything. I will give this absolutely everything that I've got. No one cares more about the state of this country than I do. I am determined to do something about it. I came out of last year out of retirement to try and lead a movement that would get our country back. I think we're on track. I think we're on our way. I'm proud to lead this party, and I'm proud of you for the amazing contribution you've made to our success over the next year. But I tell you what, folks, that was just the beginning. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Thank you.
gentlemen, isn't he brilliant, our leader, Nigel Farage? Well, ladies and gentlemen, here in the hall, it's now time for a lunch break. Our breakout sessions are continuing in Britannia, in Liberty, in Nelson Endeavour, and also in Union Theatres. Now, we have got a very packed programme for you this afternoon, including Lee Anderson chronicling his journey from pit to Parliament. Laura Ann Jones will be talking about winning in Wales, and Graham Simpson will compliment her by voicing how we succeed in Scotland. We will also hear from our council leaders, Women for Reform, and we will also give you an update on Operation Restoring Justice. And just before you go to lunch, we also have a very special speaker which we are keeping under our hats,